All right. Okay. So after all the speculation and build up, Toy Story 5 did come out, and I don't even know where to start. It's
I
funny
know, right?
too
I was thinking that. Where do we start?
because like when we first started it was such a wildly different concept in our heads compared to where it ended up.
Yes, indeed.
I guess we could start just to summarize. How do you feel about this movie in summary, just to sum it up?
Um, it was a nice Toy Story adventure. That's how
Mhm.
I would summarize it. It was a fun Toy Story adventure.
And overall, you would say you liked it.
I did indeed like it, yes.
So I
Uh-oh,
did,
I'm worried
I
now.
I I didn't like it.
Oh, really? Wow. I
Yeah.
think I know why.
Now, it's not like an offensively bad movie or anything. It's not like, oh, it ruined the series. It's nothing like that. And as far as fifth movies in a franchise go, it's definitely better than most. Um, but I guess, well, the thing about it, I was rewatching one through four before seeing this, and I found myself feeling, okay, yeah, these movies, I don't really have a lot of issues here. Maybe there's nitpicks a few here and there with some of them, but overall, I feels like a practically perfect series. So this is definitely a different experience for me because I have a lot more issues with this one than the others, obviously. Um, but I guess the first topic we could address is the big plot point that got everyone the general audience is kind of excited to watch this movie is the technology aspect of it. How did you feel about that and how it was handled overall?
Um, I guess it was handled realistically.
Hmm.
They didn't go too much into it, but it was just enough. I think overall, I think they hit on something I didn't think they would have.
Hmm. I think the technology plot, I was always hesitant when it was announced, just because to me, Toy Story it never felt like it was about social issues at large. It always just felt like it was about humanity, like human issues and feelings via
Yeah.
toys. But I guess it never really felt like it was about broader social implications. Having said that, I do think I was worried it would come off preachy. I don't think it did at all. I think they balanced it pretty well in that sense. I would say my one, I don't know if it's a gripe, but it's just something noteworthy, is the fact that Lilypad is sentient and that she does care about Bonnie. That left me feeling a bit unsure how to feel about that because if you're gonna commentate on technology and the effects it has on kids, I mean, tablets aren't actually sentient and don't care about their owners. So that part made it ring a bit hollow to me, but I do feel like the overall message of it was good, like fine enough.
Wow, I actually think the opposite. I think that was actually a good thing.
Hmm.
It's because like she's really efficient at what she does, but she still really her overall goal is to make her owner happy.
See, I do like if you are going to make the technology sentient, I do like that they didn't make her a villain. I do think it's good that I wouldn't say like I have a problem with her being sentient and her caring about Bonnie. I think that works if you're going to have the toys and the technology. If they're going to interact, I do think that's the way to go and not make Lily Pad a villain because I think that goes it goes too far into the preachy side of things, I think. But that is something I had thought of. Now, having said that, I do think it eventually ties into the best scene in the movie. The ending, I think, with Bonnie and Blaze is the best scene in the movie, I would say.
Where is that when she's trying to give back the toys, or the like the whole scene afterwards as well?
Yeah, well, yeah, to clarify, it's the scene where she's trying to give back the toys, and there's that hesitancy there. And I did that was I thought that was a really nice scene. I think that was my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah, that was I definitely felt the emotion, like the part where she Bonnie calls out Blaze's name,
Yeah,
like she
yeah.
gets over that fear. I was like, wow, that was good.
Which I guess that's a good segue. A lot of people, I'm glad people have brought this up because I had thought this myself. Uh, the focus on the humans, it's a lot more in this movie, and people have likened it to Inside Out, which I find interesting. How did you feel about that overall?
Yeah, I would say Bonnie and Blaze, or especially Bonnie, are sort of the main characters after one other character. They were definitely like the main focus than on any other Toy Story movie, where the human character is like really the centerpiece, and it's really their journey.
Yeah, I don't think it's an inherently bad idea. I do think if you're going to continue Toy Story, it makes sense that there's going to be a bit of an evolution and there's going to be focus on other things. And it is nice to see how the toys help their owners in more substantive ways and outside of being played with. But I think it did feel it was an adjustment for me, I feel, because it has always been about the toys. And but in this movie, I felt more invested in Bonnie and Blaze's whole thing more than I did with any of the toys, actually.
Yeah, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Be- Before you went into the movie, did you watch like any of the last trailers or any of the interviews or like little documentaries at all?
That's a good question. So I did watch that last trailer, which wound up kind of just feeling like a glorified TV spot, and I did watch some of the interviews. I did not watch the documentary. What about you?
Okay, so with my journey, I was trying to avoid everything, but I sort of failed at that. So I decided to try and listen to like the actors and directors interviews just a teeny bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, when listening to that, they kind of gave away, I wouldn't say they gave away the movie, but they gave away the tone of the movie.
Right, yeah.
So when I was before I listened to the interviews, I thought it was going to be like a sort of an action-packed movie just focusing on the toys. But
Hmm.
when I heard the interview, then I started thinking, the humans are going to be up like the focus of it, how they were describing the movie.
Hmm. I don't know if I saw interviews about that aspect, but I did. There was that one interview with Tim Allen and Joan Cusack where it was funny because Tim was like, "Oh yeah, they're telling me not to spoil stuff, so I got to be careful." And then in the interview, they're just like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Bonnie and Blaze they become friends at the end of the movie, and Lily Pad
No
she's good
way.
too. She's not actually a villain." It's hilarious. It's also funny because Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, the way they speak about this movie, if you just heard what they said, you would think this movie was like purely like anti-technology and like completely against it.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was rather funny. But speaking of shifting focus, I guess we could talk about Jessie and the fact it's primarily about her and how we felt about what they did with her in this movie. How did you feel about it overall?
Wow, I really love Jesse in this movie. Jesse was so good in this movie.
I think
It
Jesse feels the most in character of the group in this movie
100%. I 100% agree with that.
because there was never really a moment where I was like, okay, I feel like Jesse wouldn't do that. It all felt natural to me.
Yeah, it really felt like an extension of seeing her in Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3. She was like fully in character.
Yeah, and okay, here's the big question about Emily because I got this spoiled, the Emily thing. I saw a picture of the Golden Book, which I still don't know why they put that out before the movie when it has the whole story in the book, but I digress. Anyway, the fact that Emily names her daughter Jessie, how did you feel about that? Because that's something I have mixed feelings on, I would say.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let you go first. I want to hear your opinion on it.
So I do see the value in this story of someone who their place in the world feels uneven. They're not convinced they're actually mattering or they're leaving an impact. But then she sees she has left this impact, and that is sweet. But at the same time, I don't know. What was part of what made When She Loved Me so good to me was like how devastating it was. It was like, oh, she doesn't care about her at all anymore. And that's what kind of made Woody's decision to stay with Andy so strong, is that he was like, oh, that could happen to me, but I'm going to stay with him anyway. And I know Emily wasn't completely faithless. You saw a bit of her before,
Yeah.
but I did like how it was almost like implying Jesse had forgotten what she even looked like, and it was just faint to memory. And it just ended up feeling a bit on the nose to me. And like they were like, okay, we need a moment to make them cry. What do we do in this movie? Let's figure it out. And I'm not gonna say it ruined When She Loved Me. I don't think it does. I don't think it ruins it. Cheapens it a bit, arguably, yes. I don't think it would have been as bad as that original ending of where Emily finds Jesse and gives her to her
Yeah.
grandchild. That would have been terrible, and I honestly can't believe they even considered that. But that's my take on it. What about you?
So that moment, I really did like it.
Hmm.
So really, what I it's really the what I like implied it was. So it shows Emily at the beginning of the movie,
Hmm. Right.
and she's playing with Jesse.
Hmm.
So it seems like it's implied that she's sort of in the same situation as Bonnie. She may not have
Right.
like all these friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Yeah.
Emily being a redhead girl, she identifies with the Jessie doll or the Jessie character from Woody's Roundup.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm guessing that like that influenced her throughout her life. She saw herself as Jessie, and it
Hmm.
meant that
Yeah.
much to her that she named her daughter after her favorite doll or character, which I think that was really nice.
I will say, that moment you just spoke about, the opening when Emily is I can't remember exactly what she says, but she's on the tire swing and she's like, "I'm gone."
Yeah,
I think that actually made me more emotional than the actual scene where Jesse finds out that Emily uh named her daughter Jesse.
yeah, that's that opening scene with when it's Jessie and it Emily and it transitions to Bonnie. That's actually my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah, I thought that was very effective and very well directed, I thought.
Yeah, the
I will
music it has the music from When She Loved Me, and
Yeah.
then it transitions into Sailing No More when it starts showing Bonnie. I just think that whole scene is just so just something about it is just really beautiful.
I actually did not notice that about I Will Go Sailing No More. That's a very nice touch.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it did fit well at that point.
That is very interesting. I will say also, I guess part of why I didn't like it as much. So I have to be frank and honest that I have a huge bias in favor of Woody. And the whole time I'm like, where's Woody? And I'm not saying he should have been the main character. I do think four wraps up his story so well. I think it's a sensible direction to have shift it to somebody else, shift it to Jesse. But I was just I just missed him the whole time.
Wow.
I
Is there like
Oh, go ahead.
is there like what do you thought was missing? Just him overall, or him having a story arc?
Yeah, I mean, I knew he was gonna be in it less, which was it's totally fine. To compare it to something, I mean, Toy Story of Terror, Jesse's the lead in that. I think that I really like that special. And I mean, Woody doesn't have that much to do in it. I mean, he's there. He doesn't have like an arc or anything. And I don't think I expected an arc or anything. I think it was weird because, and actually, I guess this is also a good segue to, well, Woody and Buzz and their characterization in this movie. They both felt really off to me in a way like they've never felt off before, especially Buzz. It was
Oh, I hated Buzz in this, man. I hated Buzz in this. Oh, worse than Toy Story 4, and I stand by that.
You know, the thing in four is with his inner voice. It's like, okay, that's weird, but I guess I could find ways to rationalize it. I was like, okay, maybe he senses something's off with Woody and maybe he's just, and also the fact it's by himself. He's not really, for the most part, outside of when he first mentioned it to Woody, he's just kind of talking to himself. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
maybe he's just being silly, or he's goofing off or whatever. But here with I think the whole marriage thing in general was kind of weird. But Buzz is always like he's been nervous around Jesse and all, but I think they really overdid it.
they something was they. I felt like they've had. I think it seems like they had multiple writers writing for Buzz, and each one of them had their own vision. Because Buzz was just like nearly every scene he was in, it was so off.
Yeah, it's very odd. It's to the point it's like this doesn't feel like the same character or the same person at all.
Yeah, I've watched this movie like about like two times, probably more than that. And then the second time watching and seeing Buzz, it was painful. It was just so off.
Yeah, it's you know what made me the most annoyed about Buzz, actually, more than anything, is that scene where Woody is dangling and the pig's trying to eat him, and Buzz just like, oh yeah, that's my sidekick, and he just stands around talking. I don't think he would. I feel like Buzz would immediately help him. I don't think that would happen.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. It was a funny moment, but yeah,
It's weird because Buzz has always felt um well, he just really cares about Woody's opinion because Woody is the one who told him about his life's purpose, and I think it is he should develop beyond that and be his own person. But something about their whole connection in this movie felt off, and I think the whole deputy thing that was very strange.
yeah, like where do you even start now? So with Buzz, like just there was scenes where he's overly panicking for Jesse, where it seems a bit really odd.
Yeah.
Um, there was another scene as well like when the way he was talking in some scenes, like that, it just didn't sound like Buzz. Like one scene was when Lily Pad's doing the alarm,
Hmm.
and I think Buzz says something when he's tapping trying to get the alarm off. It that sounded like a different character. I was like, who is this?
Yeah, yeah. The marriage thing in general, I think it mostly affected Buzz, but in a way, it sort of made everyone feel weird because I never got the impression the toys would be silly enough to think, oh yeah, this is a marriage and this is a real thing. Like I never imagined they would ever care about that. I feel like the toys seemed a bit overly comedic in this movie.
Yeah, the wedding, it is a bit odd that they're acknowledging like a real wedding, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, and when Woody comes back and he has that moment with Buzz, the Buzz is like he's talking like a baby. He's like, "See me, Star, you know, Star," and it's like very
yeah,
not Buzz.
yeah, hello.
It's really weird too, because also from Woody's perspective, I don't like Woody's always been petty, and that's part of his character, but I don't think he would care about the whole Star deputy thing. I thought that was off.
Yeah, there was something. I don't know why. Like we've had Toy Story 4, Lightyear, now Toy Story 5, where Buzz is just not Buzz.
It's very very bizarre, and that sticker scene from Woody's perspective, that um, I was okay. He's just kind of it's just banter, but as it went on, you have that scene where they're about to go get Jesse, and Woody he tells Buzz to stay behind because he has more field experience and he thinks he can do it a bit better. Weird on two notes. First of all, the movie and the promo heading like leading up to it, it almost felt like that was supposed to be a big moment and that was gonna like be this huge thing. Because even the way when Woody says it, the music kind of swells and Buzz has a very dramatic reaction to it. And it's almost like they were setting up some kind of storyline, like little B plot between them, and it never went anywhere. And I was left wondering why that part was even in the movie outside of like just trailer fodder.
Yeah, I think it was just meant for the trailer. Like it didn't like really add up or conclude on anything.
I don't see Woody saying that to him in general. Like Woody's never had a problem with feeling like Buzz wasn't going to be able to do something. They've done all these things together, and even in the first movie, he says, "Buzz, I can't do this without you," and he doesn't even know him that well at that point, comparatively. So it felt very strange, and just in general. You know when after the first movie came out and two was coming out and they were sort of acting like Woody and Buzz were still like arguing all the time and being petty with each other. But then when Toy Story 2 came out and same with all the sequels and shorts we've gotten up until now. It never felt like Woody and Buzz were like, oh, they're always arguing and they have these egos and they're constantly at odds with each other about that and they're all immature with each other. It never felt like that was their relationship. The only time before now they fought after the first movie was it was one-sided too. Buzz got angry with Woody telling him not to go to the museum, and then Woody got angry
Yeah.
at Buzz telling them not to go to the daycare. But even those arguments, it wasn't like, oh, this is like a petty ego trip. It was just like genuine ideological differences during a really stressful time of change. And it was very odd. It was like, and even like Mr. Potato Head, he's like, oh, it's good to see them fighting again. And Slinky's like, oh, it sure is. Like implying that this has always been a thing.
Yeah,
And they
like
even
that's
like
their thing.
they even like argue when they're like climbing up the table to go confront Lily Pad. It was very strange. I don't know why. It's
Yeah.
like they just decided, hey, wouldn't it be funny if they had this type of relationship, even though they haven't since the first movie?
Yeah, like even that part, yeah, where you just with the lily pad and they climb at the table and they start pulling each other down and what? Like that's not them.
Yeah, what's so great about them is they're always I feel like they've always had a pretty wholesome relationship and they've been supportive of each other. It was very strange to see that going. It's doubly strange because it's Andrew Stanton writing it and he knows these characters. And I'm just thinking like my best guess is they're not thinking in terms of that. They're thinking in terms of okay, in this movie, Woody and Buzz are side characters, and the side characters are goofy and they make jokes, and we'll just have them do that.
Yeah, that's what confused me. Andrew Stanton was writing. I was not expecting like Woody and Buzz to be sort of, especially Buzz to be really goofy like that.
Yeah, and I could have bought them having some kind of argument or disagreement since they've not seen each other in a while, and it's kind of awkward getting back in the groove of things. But it wasn't like that. It was just like, oh yeah, they're just being their usual petty selves, even though this has not been a thing for the last 25 years.
Yeah, I think the conflict just should have been Buzz thinking like, why is Woody here? Did Jesse call him? Does Jesse not trust me? That's where it should have been the conflict from.
Yeah, it really is weird. There's no resolution. What's also interesting, I thought, speaking of that, how Woody and Jesse, in an interview, Andrew Stanton said, just in general, that Woody and Buzz and the toys, they've seen each other between 4 and 5, which is very interesting to have their reunion for the first time take place off screen.
Oh, did he say that? They've
Apparently,
seen each other.
apparently so. I don't know how accurate that would actually be canonically, but it was interesting how they just have like a whole setup, like a radio setup, and they speak, and
Yeah,
they don't really explain it. Which, to be fair, it probably would derail things because the movie's not about that. So it would be like,
yeah.
okay,
Where
let's
did that
take.
radio come from?
Yeah, it would be strange. Like, oh, just let's have like a whole 5 minute segment. We're gonna explain how they set
Yeah,
all this up. But it is very interesting how they are just kind of, I don't know, They can just speak and they don't really say like where Woody and Bo actually are. They're just kind of out in the forest somewhere and they just get in the skunk, which not that I don't think that was a bad thing necessarily because the movie's not about that and I get not wanting to delve too much into like how that works. But it was very interesting compared to like what people probably were thinking of how it would be like this big dramatic reunion.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too, Woody and Buzz you don't really see them say bye or anything. Not that it was going to be like this emotional moment, but not even like a casual like, oh, okay, I'll see you later. They just kind of go off their separate ways without any
Yeah, when I
real
watched that for the
resolution.
first time, literally it looked like it was sped up. I blinked and Woody was gone. Like it was so quick. It felt like someone sped up the movie at that point and Woody was just gone.
I don't get the whole poncho thing because okay, they add this design. It's kind of mirroring what Bo has. She has her own little cape, and it's like, okay, he's lost toys, got this new design. And I thought it looked good, and everyone in the movie acts like it looks ridiculous. And I was like, I mean, I thought it looked pretty good, but okay. And then a
Yeah,
pig.
it looks good, but even in interviews they were saying that the poncho was trying to be like really lame, but it looked really good on him.
Yeah, it's very strange. And then a pig eats it, and it's very odd. Like you would think they'd want to be, oh, look at this poncho. We're gonna mass produce all these toys and have this new image of Woody. Like you would think they'd be really excited about it, but it's like they all thought it was lame. I don't really get why. I thought it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was like his supposed to be like his definitive look now. Like that was his like change.
Yeah, it's sort of odd in a way. It's like, okay, here's this new look. It's signifying his big change. Oh, it's gone. It's very odd.
Yeah.
It makes me also wonder, going forward, is he gonna have another one, or are they just gonna just not address it? It was like, oh yeah, that was just a joke in the fifth movie that we're ignoring now.
Yeah, I was thinking they were just gonna be gone with it, but then I think on Instagram they posted this thing, and it was saying that Woody has spare ponchos.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
apparently he's got more of them in different designs.
It's it was funny when Bo shook her head, well, when he said that she liked it, but it was also like, well, why wouldn't she like it? She's got a cave.
Yeah.
And the bald thing, I remember us talking about that, and that's funny enough. I thought it worked, but then the beer gut thing, it's like that makes no sense. How would that like? I mean, I could be wrong about this, but I've never seen a toy lose a voice box and then all their stuffing goes to their stomach.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably possible that the stuffing settles over time. Maybe with older toys, it kind of sags. But I think that was just added to make the older people in the audience like feel better about themselves.
It's funny because on one hand, it's like, oh, look, Woody has this, so don't feel too bad. But it's also like, oh, but we're also making fun of how you look.
Yeah,
The humor, I will say the humor, there were some parts I thought were quite funny, but there were also parts that did not really feel like Toy Story to me and felt a little overly cartoonish. Obviously, Toy Story it is animated, it is a cartoon, but it felt fairly grounded. Where I feel like there were parts in this movie where it was like, well, let's just make this joke because it would be funny, and that's that.
yeah, that's the sort of feeling I was getting as well.
Here's an interesting discussion too. The 50 Buzz Lightyears. How did you feel about that whole plot line?
Um, at the beginning when you see them, it's very cinematic.
Yeah, I thought the opening with them was very well directed.
Yeah, I kind of wish that was the whole movie, or kind of wish they had their own spin-off.
Yeah,
I
I
want
was
to see their
thinking.
whole journey.
Yeah, because in the actual movie, the context of the movie, it's like, okay, why are these things here? What is the point of this? It feels very like shoehorned in just because it's cool and it doesn't really work cohesively. But in isolation, I thought their scenes were some of the more enjoyable parts of the movie, and especially that scene where they're in the woods and they have the deer and then the humans come and they hide. And then later on it pays off and they see that. their fallen comrade actually enjoys being a toy and so on and so forth. Honestly, you could have cut those scenes and put it into its own little short film, and I think it would have worked on its own.
I think so too. You could have done a short film with those 50 Buzz Lightyears.
Yeah, I think it was interesting too how they almost talk like cavemen.
Yeah.
And it's also funny, like in Toy Story 2, the Buzzes have this whole argument over who the real Buzz is, but all of them just accept, oh yeah, we're all space rangers and it's just whatever.
Yeah, I was thinking, so like in my head canon,
hmm
I think maybe in like a Buzz Lightyear like episode, he must have
hmm
went to like a multiverse where there's all Buzz Lightyears. So maybe
Right.
it's from like an episode where there's multiple Buzzes.
That would make sense with how much they love the multiverse. I could see in the Toy Story universe they've done something like that. And I do think it was interesting when they have their whole flying scene, which was cool, and it's when they pick up Woody and Buzz and they have the music cue from the first movie, which it was nice, but I remember reacting. I was like, oh, that's cool. They referenced that. But then 2 seconds later, I was like, that felt on the nose.
My problem with that, it was way too fast. We couldn't like enjoy the moment. It was so quick.
Yeah, yeah. Like compare that to Toy Story 1 when Buzz flies. Like there's so much build up to it, and when it happens, the payoff, it feels really magical. I think that's maybe the best moment in Toy Story history. And
Yeah.
this, it's like, oh well, they're flying, uh, and that's that.
Yeah, I wish we could like just settle in the moment, just enjoy them flying. Because it is cool now, because it makes sense. Now, all these years
hmm
later, the Buzz Lightyear action figures actually can fly.
Yeah, I it's funny because they really do like working in this plot of, okay, how can we make Buzz delusional in this movie?
Yeah, they like they have to fit it in every movie somehow.
Speaking, I mentioned how they talk like cavemen, and I hate to bring this up because it can't be helped. It's not their fault. But I do think by this movie, the characters really are not sounding like themselves as much.
Or like the voice acting.
Yeah, not that they're doing a bad job. It's just, oh yeah, that does sound pretty different. You can start to notice it in 4, but I feel like in 5, by now, it's like, oh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like you can you can definitely notice it like with Jessie. She was very there was
Yeah,
something.
yeah, I think it's challenging for her because she's always so she has all that spunk and she's very loud. So getting in that high register and getting all those loud yeehaws. I think I heard yeehaws that were recycled from other movies.
Yeah, they were gonna have to recycle.
Yeah. But after all the negatives I've mentioned and that we've talked about, what would you say are some positives and some things you enjoy most about this movie?
Okay, positives. What I really loved was that scene where Smarty Pants, Atlas, and Snappy all get new batteries, and they start like talking to each other. That was such an amazing scene.
Yeah, I liked the build up when Jesse's against them and then Smarty Pants says, "You know how it feels to be I don't remember exactly what it said, but just being in storage, being locked away, and then she begins to realize, okay, they're not that different. I did enjoy how that all led up to one another.
Yeah, I just love the scene, and they were showing like Blaze how she grew up, and like
hmm
it's so funny. They weren't even with her that long. It was only like 3 months, maybe.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've never really focused on the life cycle of like babyish toys, I guess. I mean, we've seen Wheezy, we've seen Bonnie and Four had some in her closet, but we've never really had a plot line revolving around them. So that was interesting.
Yeah. What's it now? Just those three characters. I think they worked well.
Yeah, I think what's interesting too, um, by now, even more so, you really get this sense that they're like, okay, let's make new characters and let's focus on them. And it's interesting. Part of me wonders, I'm like, these movies are getting expensive to make. Tom Hanks, he's probably really expensive by now. I almost wonder if that factors into it.
It, what didn't make sense to me? This movie is like the most expensive Toy Story movie.
Hmm.
To be honest, it didn't look like it though.
Yeah,
This looked like it should have been like cheaper than all the other ones.
four looks way better. I thought, to be honest, Josh Cooley, in terms of the way it's shot or animated, Josh Cooley did a much better job with four. I thought that looked a lot prettier.
Yeah, I think Toy Story 4 is probably the most beautiful out of all of them.
I do wonder, maybe it's because they tried it and by now it just looks so real, it doesn't look right, so they kind of dialed it back. Or maybe it was purely budgetary and the budget's ballooning so much they had to limit their resources. But whatever it was, it wasn't quite what you would have expected after four, I guess.
Yeah, I think this is so odd. Like, it was such a high budget, and like we don't see that, or like they
Yeah,
don't really go that many different places for it to be like, why is the budget that high?
yeah. With four, a lot of people felt with four that it wasn't right because it's not as eventful. It's not as action packed, which I understand why people felt that way. I personally was fine with it because I thought the character stuff was so interesting, and I thought, after three, the incinerator, you can't really top that. But I feel in five, since I wasn't quite as invested in the character work, the movie does feel kind of slow and boring to me at times.
Yeah, to me, I feel um like some a lot of it. I feel like there was lots missing. Like parts were cut out because there's this like weird edits in the movie. Like there's a couple of them.
Yeah, there are some weird edits in this movie. I you keep seeing people post that part where Smarty Pants is talking about like his game that Jesse plays, and they like cut it to when Jesse's playing the game, and people are saying it's supposed to like innuendo, which I didn't think of when I first watched it, but now people keep saying it, and now I can't unsee it.
Yeah, so I originally saw that scene in a TV spot before I saw the movie,
Oh, I
and
didn't see that.
I did think of that straight away when I saw it. Like I was like,
Yeah,
whoa, wait a minute,
it
and
was
that's when I just
really
saw the TV spot.
it was really weird because I don't know. I've never seen Toy Story. I mean, they have that joke in two when Buzz, his wings expand when he sees Jessie do that little trick, but it was very strange because it was like Jessie's like she's just playing this game oblivious, and Smarty Pants is like on the floor looking very suggestive.
Yeah, and like even before that scene when he tells her to play, and he kind of
Oh
like
yeah.
rubs his button.
This movie had like a kind of a lot of moments like that. Even Buzz when he sees the horse and the horse gives him this like weird look. I don't
The
know.
horse was like in love with him or something. I was confused at that as well.
It really feels like they were like, we don't know what to do with these characters. Let's just like throw in a bunch of weird, funny stuff, and the audience will laugh.
Yeah, I think that was their thing. Let's throw in some weird stuff to get a reaction out of people.
Yeah, just and with the like the balding, not that I dislike the balding, but it's just like you can feel them like, oh, what would go viral? Like what would people really react to? And
Yeah, it had like kind of that modern Pixar writing.
yeah, it feels almost like I'm watching a DreamWorks movie or something when Smarty Pants is like, oh, you said duty, and it's like, okay, I don't need that joke in Toy Story. All right, so. With all of that said, do you have any other thoughts or things that you think we should touch on involving this movie?
So going from the beginning, so I really liked the Buzz stuff at the beginning. That
Mhm.
was fun.
Hmm.
Um, Bonnie's are the first scene. So Bonnie's like wedding playtime thing
Hmm.
with the like the new look. That was fun.
Hmm. Yeah, I do like that they embrace trying new things. I think what's interesting, I hear a lot of people say they think this movie starts off slow but gets better as it goes on. But I was actually more invested when it started, I think.
You're more invested like at the beginning part of it.
Yeah, yeah. I think I don't know why exactly that is. Maybe because there was more going on. I don't know what exactly it was, but I did feel more invested at the beginning rather than as it went on, which seems to be the opposite of what a lot of people are saying.
So I think the reason is with the beginning, it's such a tonal shift. Like it has that darker tone
Yeah,
because you have Bonnie just stop playing with her toys and she
right.
goes to
Yeah.
why doesn't anyone wanna play wanna be my friend? And that
Yeah,
just
that's
hits
true.
because it comes out of nowhere and
Yeah,
that just
yeah.
hits, man. I was like, wow.
It does. It does. Those are the most emotional parts, Bonnie and Blaze having trouble with their friends. That those are the most
Yeah.
you feel in the movie, I think.
Yeah, I was to be honest, I was really shocked that the Toy Story movie like tackled like sort of cyberbullying and the dangers of being online like that.
Yeah, and despite my feelings on this movie, I will say I do like the idea that someone who feels like Bonnie or Blaze, especially people who are their age and are having issues like that, can see it and kind of identify with it and know not to try to be someone else, and that there are people who they can befriend who have their interests and who care about them, aren't just going to do whatever they feel to fit in. I feel it's definitely a movie that kids can watch and take something valuable away from in that sense.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's like it's funny to see like the difference between Andy and Bonnie now.
You know what's I was thinking about this. Andy had like 100 kids at his birthday party, and Bonnie has no friends.
Yeah. And like it's like Bonnie, I feel like Bonnie is way more like developed as a character than Andy.
Yeah, I think that's part of why I felt so weird watching it. Andy really he doesn't matter. He's a plot device. He's just the
Yeah.
vessel for the toy's feelings. He's like the metaphor for whatever person is watching Toy Story can identify with the worry of being replaced, essentially. But now Bonnie, she has an arc that's not because the toys. It's always been very metaphorical. Like, oh, this is like a metaphor for life and abandonment and so on and so forth. Bonnie's story is it's very literal in this movie, which I think is why a lot of people are liking this one more than some of the other ones, and why people are saying it's one of the most emotional ones because it's much more like, okay, this is literally real life. This is the actual real world and not just like an allegory for it.
Yeah, like they just get they gave her character is just what I like.
Yeah, I like of course to me Andy will always be the favorite because it's Andy. I mean,
Yeah.
nostalgia and he just feels right. But I mean Bonnie, yeah, she's an actual character where Andy isn't so much of one.
Yeah, I feel like Andy is just like for us to project ourselves onto.
Yeah, honestly, three, the ending to three, if you didn't feel that projection, it's kind of like, okay, why are we focusing on Andy so much at the end? Because he doesn't have a character arc at all.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the producers were like, "Oh, this is the end of Andy's story." Like, what story did he have?
Yeah, I know that's the end of Andy's story. Like, what was his story?
Yeah, it's very funny to consider. Yeah, Bonnie really does. It's funny. So many people still hate her for not liking Woody anymore.
Yeah, that's still a thing.
I also wondered. It made me wonder. I wonder if Bonnie ever realized he was gone? Because I honestly feel like she just didn't realize and didn't think about it.
Yeah, she hasn't realized. I know for a fact. You can tell she just doesn't realize he's gone.
I was wondering if at any point in the movie they were going to see Woody on the floor and be like, oh, there's that one thing. I haven't seen that in a while.
It is weird though. There was a scene where Bonnie was definitely in the house
Hmm.
and Woody was directly on her floor in toy
Yeah.
mode, and like she didn't really like notice him. Well, they didn't show it.
I don't know if she even remembers Woody because Andy gave him to her when she was like 3 or 4.
Yeah, but that was the. Like, didn't he say like to look after Woody? Wasn't that like a promise?
You know, everyone gets mad that she didn't keep that promise, but like Andy is almost an adult in that movie, and I can't imagine he seriously expects a 3 or 4 year old to keep a promise to look after a toy.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah,
It's very funny, and it was interesting too. There were people who were mad about Woody leaving in 4 because it's like he's not looking after Bonnie, but it's interesting how he comes back in this movie and he's still having that parental role of like, oh, he's like making sure with Buzz that she's gonna make friends, and he still seems invested in her to a degree.
yeah. That was. I do like that about Woody in this movie.
You know, I think what I like about this movie in terms of where it leaves the characters, I like that it keeps the ending of 4 intact, but it also has it to where okay, they still interact and they can still see each other.
Yeah,
I think that's a good middle ground. I think that's a good uh status quo to set.
yeah. It's like it's all really left open so they can do number six.
Yeah, with that in mind, should we begin our speculation about what might be next?
Well, numbers. Well, I was thinking there's a multiple of ways they could go. They could do something like with a Bo Peep Woody spin-off. Or they could just do Jesse as the main character and the toys are in another situation.
I heard, I don't remember where this was, because obviously they were talking about not having Woody in it at first, but then I heard they were talking about a Woody and Bo spin-off, which assume would have been a show or something. I do wonder how that would have gone if they made this movie no Woody, but had like a that show. It's like, okay, if you want to see what Woody's up to, here's this like Disney Plus show or whatever.
Yeah, if they did do something like that, they should like really like mess with the tone. Like make it like a spaghetti western or something like that.
Oh yeah, that would yeah, it almost feel like getting Woody's Roundup, but not.
Yeah.
I've seen people say, "Oh, well, this could be Bonnie's trilogy," and 4 is very focused on Woody, 5 is very focused on Jesse, and then make 6 very focused on Buzz. What do you think of that notion?
I don't want to see a movie focused on Buzz.
Oh
Forget
yeah.
that. Just do Jesse again. I don't want to see like Buzz. I'm tired of Buzz now, especially how he's written.
Yeah. I do. It would make sense if it is Jesse from now on, because when Woody does pass the badge on, it's subtle enough you could just not think much of it. But it's also like, okay, you could that's like passing the baton. She's the main character now.
Yes, I felt like she really was a breakout in this movie. Like she could definitely. We've seen her hand like be the lead of the movie, and it worked perfectly.
Jesse did always make the most sense because obviously Buzz, like yeah, on paper you would think, oh, we'll give it to Buzz because he's the other face of the franchise, but Jesse just does have the most emotionally going on.
Yeah, just she had a lot of her backstory, and it just made more sense because she has more story to tell.
Yeah, I've seen people say okay, like 4, 5, 6, that's a trilogy, but I almost wonder if instead, because Andrew Stanton, he said, oh, there could be 2 more Toy Story movies. So I wonder if he means like 5, 6, 7 is like a Jesse Bonnie trilogy or something.
Yeah, he was saying that there's going to be more. See, he was the thing about this the interviews they were very honest this time. They were
Yeah.
very honest about what they want to do. He was saying, yeah, there's going to be more Toy Stories. They just kept saying it.
It's funny because he told that he was like, yeah, we never start on a Toy Story movie. unless there's an idea first. And then he like immediately contradicted himself. He was like, "Yeah, so Disney told me to make they asked me if I had any ideas for Toy Story 5, and I thought they were joking and I laughed at them."
Yeah, I know that's exactly what he said.
It's so funny. I have to wonder if he said no, what would they would have probably gone. I'm sure they would have gone ahead anyway, but he wouldn't have been in
Would have
control of
gone
it.
ahead anyway. 100%. They would have gone ahead anyway.
I guess that's his mindset. Like, oh, they're gonna do it, so I might as well know I can write it and direct it.
And it's so funny. They went up to him and said this in 2022.
I know. Do you remember there were people, there were like reports like, oh no, this wasn't planned. This is being planned since 2020. Come to find out, nope, it was exactly what we all cynically thought. Lightyear
Yeah,
flop, and they're like, oh fuck, we gotta make another Toy Story movie.
that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
It's so, oh, we're losing a lot of money. Andrew, do you have any ideas for Toy Story 5?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's like Lightyear, man. That movie's caused so much problems.
And I still have never seen it.
You don't need to. It's
Yeah.
probably best. I wish I didn't see it. I wish I could erase it from my mind.
I like how this movie had Buzz directly mention Zurg as their dad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lightyear is just not a thing. Even in the Toy Story universe,
yeah,
Lightyear is not a thing.
it really feels more like what people say, like, oh, in the Toy Story universe, Lightyear's like the gritty reboot nobody likes of
Yeah,
what the actual movie or show was. Which
that's
is
what I think. That it
it's
makes it more tolerable that way.
it's funny they always say like they focused on it being a movie because I mean it might have just been because when I was a kid and I knew about Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, I just assumed that was it. But it still always felt like it was a show to me because Woody's got a show, so it would make sense if Buzz is from a show, I guess.
Yeah.
I really wonder, because Andrew Stanton, he was saying, we there's ideas for at least two more. That so it feels very he has specific ideas, and I really wonder what they are because I have no idea.
I think the I think when they were doing Toy Story 5, I think they have like some leftover ideas they hid away.
I'm very interested. This movie. Of course, when it was announced, people were very negative about it, and then people have come around to it. They like the whole technology aspect, and I'm wondering what is it they could do that would compel people and not be, oh, another Toy Story. I really, because I don't really know. I know there's always that idea of Andy coming back, but after I don't know, watching this movie and thinking it over, I'm like, I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, I think he did say Andy will eventually come back. He's been teasing a lot of stuff just to get like the fans happy.
He said,
Um,
yeah, he said
Tim Allen's
something.
Tim
Oh, Tim
Allen's really
Allen.
funny. He's up to date on all the Toy Story theories.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, there was one thing they had Andrew Stanton was answering questions and they asked something about Andy and he's like, "Oh, we thought about things about Andy." He didn't directly say they were going to do anything, but just that they had thoughts about where he was, and I thought that was interesting.
Hmm.
And he kind of,
But at this stage, would we want to see him back though? At this stage,
when this movie was first announced, I was like, I don't know. Andy coming back could feel like regression, but it could be interesting. But I don't know. The more I think about it, I'm like, I don't know. We've already had Jesse go back to Emily's house. So at what point is it like, okay, we're just recycling the same owners?
yeah, it will be too soon for Andy now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they could bring him back without like ending it with them all going back to him, but I don't know. Woody being a lost toy does just kind of feel like the natural conclusion for him. I remember Andrew Stanton when he was talking about this movie, he was saying Woody needed a break. We needed him to be happy with his decision for one movie. And one could overanalyze that and be like, what do you mean one movie? Do you mean in the next one he's gonna have something else go on? But I don't know. I don't know if I really see Woody being the main character again. I don't know. I mean, obviously it would be, oh, look, it's like how it used to be, nostalgia, but I don't know, it does feel very wrapped up with him.
Yeah, just unless they do some kind of spin-off with him.
I think they should, honestly, I think they should just leave Woody's. I mean, he can have small little things here and there, but I think his like big arcs should be over. I really do feel like the way Ford ended it, if that movie has any sense of finality, it's with Woody specifically. And I, if he went back to Andy and all that kind of thing happened, it would be sweet. It's like, oh, that's nostalgic, but I don't know. It feels like the best thing to do is just leave him be a lost toy and just leave it at that.
Yeah. Here's my pitch for Toy Story 6.
Okay,
Just
okay.
just kill off Buzz. Just kill him off.
Kill him off. It's funny
Like
because
because the reason is we in Toy Story 1, we see Buzz come alive.
yeah.
Now it would make sense to see his death. So we see his entire life. There's a story.
Whoa, maybe they'll circle back to Circle Seven, but it's like he doesn't get saved.
Yeah.
He's just recalled. Buzz really is, I don't know. They just don't know what to do with him after the first movie, I guess.
And it's so simple. Like with this, what I would have done, I just would have made him the dad of the group. Like
Yeah.
just make him the dad of the group.
Yeah, like you could have comic relief without him being completely stupid.
Yeah.
It's almost like they regret making him the straight man because like in Toy Story 2 they were saying, "Oh, we can't have two straight men. We have to have the comic relief man." And so we added a second Buzz. And then in th 3 he's Spanish. 4 he's got the inner voice, and then we have all this in 5 with 50 Buzz Lightyears.
Yeah, which is to be honest, the 50 Buzz Lightyears, I liked how they acted. They acted like Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, they kind of feel more like Buzz than Andy's Buzz by now.
Yeah.
It's so funny too because Buzz, out of anybody, could have the biggest crisis because he's so mass produced. Like all of the other ones are just these random toys, but he like there's so many of him all the time.
Yeah. And he seems pretty relaxed with it all. He doesn't seem phased by it.
Yeah, yeah. You would think there could be a wider story there, but they just like are like, no, let's just have him be funny, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really know where they're gonna go. Jesse still being the main character would make sense. But I think they are going to probably want to start putting them out faster because now they're more sure, okay, yeah, we're just gonna make more. They're just owning it. And also just the actor's age, basically.
Well, they Tom Hanks did say that Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, they Disney can use AI for their voice if anything happens to them.
I really wonder because I guess the obvious thought is after they pass on, they'll use AI. I honestly wonder if they would ever like, okay, we're gonna use AI on your voice while you're alive because you sound too old.
Yeah, I think that's definitely gonna happen. They may like do it secretly just to make them sound a bit younger.
I was paying attention during 5. I was like, did they use AI on any of this? But no, they always sound pretty old.
Man, if they ever do another Toy Story, they're definitely gonna do it to Buzz because Tim Allen there's something there.
Tim Allen, yeah, he said that they were like, oh, hey, Buzz sounds old, and he had to have like vocal training. At least Tom
Yeah,
Hanks, even though he's sounding older now too, he benefits because Woody's so like in that higher register a lot. But Buzz, he has that lower register, and that really exposes the gravelly older voice.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose the Rex, Potato Head, all those characters, they're probably going to continue to not have much to do.
Yes, but speaking of the voice actors, did you notice Mrs. Potato Head? got a new
Yes.
voice actor, but didn't say a single word.
Yeah, I was like, did she like say something in unison with them at some point, or is it in the background? Because I don't think she has a single line. So I don't know why she has a new actress.
Yeah, why did she have a new actress if she didn't even say anything?
It's weird. Slinky has that one line in the garage that sounds really off. And but other than that, he doesn't sound as bad. He still sounds old, but there was that one line in the garage when he says it sure is that sounds like nothing like him. Yeah, I don't know. And then who is it that doesn't talk? Buttercup does not
Yeah,
speak because there was the
yeah, he does
actor.
not
There was
speak.
some kind of controversy. I heard they might have recasted Mr. Pricklepants, but I don't know if that was ended up being
Yeah,
true or not.
I think the original actor retired, so they got a new one.
But yeah, that does make sense. I can't see them ever wanting to replace Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, and I feel like they would rather do AI than anything.
Yeah, they did say like Disney owns their voice now, so it's going to be AI for them too.
Yeah, because Tom Hanks, the way he said he sounded like he didn't like that idea, but he was like, well, nothing I can do about it.
Yeah,
It's funny too, because Tim Allen was saying that he didn't immediately accept the role in this movie. He was like, well, I want to see what's going on here first before I accept it. But I can't imagine, like, he would have said yes anyway, I'm sure.
yeah, he would have.
It's funny too. I would love to know like all the actors what their opinions are and see like if some of them might be honest and they all have the same opinions they say in the interviews about these movies, but then I feel like some of them are like they have to have opinions like that are more cynical that they obviously can't say in a public interview.
I think Tom Hanks would
Oh
have
yeah,
like a more cynical.
interesting. Tim Allen, he kind of hints that he's like, yeah, I didn't have a lot to do in four.
Yeah, Tim Allen, he just wants to play Buzz. He doesn't really care. He'll do anything really.
It's funny. It's still funny how Tom Hanks during the last movie, he kept going around. Yeah, this is the last one. It's so sad. He was the only one saying. I mean, maybe they like hinted at it, but no one directly said, "Okay, this is the last one." But Tom Hanks, he was going around saying that constantly.
Yeah, and they just go and bring him back. Like I think he was confused at first when they brought him back.
Yeah, because I remember he said he was like Toy Story 5. You better have a good reason for doing this, and then. He said he interjected and had a problem with like the bald spot at first, but then when they talked to him about it more, that he understood it more. I can't help but wonder if he was like how he felt when he got in there and saw he didn't have nearly as much to do.
Yeah,
And it's I was kind of surprised. I almost felt like Pixar like Disney would be like, oh, you got to put more Woody and Buzz because they're the most marketable characters, but I guess they don't care as long as they're in it a little bit and they can put them on the poster.
yeah. As long as they could like put them in the marketing, Disney. Yeah, that is surprising that they didn't say, "Oh, put a bit more of them in there." But
Yeah.
they trust Pixar with the story.
You know what's interesting is Jessie's arc in Toy Story of Terror, I actually liked more than what she had in this movie. And it almost made me wish they saved that for this movie. Because I really liked that story of her like getting over her fear of the enclosed spaces and her like putting herself in that box to save Woody. I don't know. I really liked that plot, and I kind of wish they saved it for a movie. And I was wondering if maybe that's part of why they don't do these shorts as much as costs, and also they're like, well, we might want to use one of these ideas for a movie.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's what I think now. I think that's why they don't do the shorts anymore because they don't want to waste
Yeah.
story ideas.
Yeah, they were probably like, oh, well, we don't know if we're gonna do another one, but by now it's so inevitable. They're like, well, let's not waste it on that.
Yeah, and another thing that why they don't do the shorts no more is because they know Toy Story is guaranteed money.
Yeah, I honestly, I know on their little release calendar they don't have any slots for a while, but Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if 6 comes out by like 2030, 2031.
Yeah, I kind of do. Hopefully, there is like a new Toy Story kind of soon. I would prefer one sooner.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if it was sooner than that, and they're like, okay, forget the schedule, we'll just put one out. Because I mean, this one is projected to make the most money out of all of them, so there's that. And the fact Andrew Stanton seems to already have ideas too. I wouldn't be surprised if they're already working on it.
Yeah, yeah, I don't. He definitely won't be director though, because I think Toy Story 5 was his retirement movie.
I wonder if he'll still be writing or if he just means directing.
Yeah, he said he'll still be overseeing.
Okay, that makes sense. I I think maybe like there was a that woman she co-directed it. I forget her name. I wonder if maybe he like wanted her in place um to direct the next movie maybe.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think she's quite smart. She is. I
Yeah,
think for her role, I think she did good.
I've seen some of her interviews and she seems to have a good grasp on storytelling. So it was smart of Andrew to kind of prep her for it and then see that she can do it and she might I think she's like the most obvious candidate for the next one, I would say.
Yeah, she's definitely proved herself. She was like what I saw from their interviews, like Andrew Stanton, he's an older guy, so he doesn't
Yeah.
really know about the newer stuff, but she was there to guide him to
Yeah.
understand how the newer stuff works.
Yeah. It felt like the reason he directed this was because he didn't have anyone in place and now that he has that, he can retire basically from directing.
Yeah.
I think he probably will still be involved, even if he's not a writer. I feel like he'll contribute some ideas because it's like we said, he seems to already have ideas. So I think he'll still have some involvement.
Yeah, I think with the Toy Story movies, you're gonna need someone who was there since the first one. You need like that overseer.
I can't help but wonder what John Lasseter and all those other people who by now have left Pixar, how they feel about these movies without their involvement.
Yeah, I would love to know what John Lasseter thinks like of these like Toy Story movies.
Yeah, I'm so curious about that. I I don't know. It's very interesting. I was reading, I'd never read this about how between 2 and 3, John Lasseter wanted to do a 3 about like Woody and Buzz going to each other's worlds, like the actual Woody's Roundup and like the actual Star Command. I had never heard that, and I was like, huh, doesn't sound like Toy Story, but that would be interesting to see.
Yeah, he wanted to do like this weird thing where Woody and Buzz go to Star Command. But I don't know how that works. Like, are they still like that's the con what's the context? How do they that's what I keep wondering.
Yeah, it maybe be fine for like a alternative universe sort of thing, but I don't think it should be an actual Toy Story sequel.
And it's funny, it was Andrew Stanton who had to talk him out of that bad idea.
Yeah, Andrew Stan, I feel like he gets probably the most credit out of anybody involved in these movies because of things like that, and because I guess the fact he's been involved so long.
Yeah, and another thing I was thinking for a movie, would they finally tackle the Woody origin story?
I do wonder if they would ever do that because I don't know if Woody's story is over and they, for whatever reason, they have to have Woody be in more of a leading role or something. I mean, I guess that would be the most illogical step because there's nowhere to go for him. So I guess they could show that and finally answer that question. I always wonder if it's as simple as like for whatever reason Woody was just in his box until Andy got him and then he came alive or something.
Yeah, I do think it could be something like that.
It would be cool to at least see like a short or a scene, even if not like a whole movie about it.
There was I did see a script. So this is sort of based off the 1992 script, so it doesn't really
Uh,
really tie into the 1995.
Hmm.
But Woody was actually he belonged to a kid in like the 60s, and he was still the dummy version.
Oh yeah.
And he was supposed to go on one of those, like, I think it's like the Ed Sullivan show. It's like a talk show.
Oh really?
And the boy was going to perform with Woody, but they got bumped off the show to be they got bumped off the show to have the Beatles replace them, which is really cool. And the movie from there is like from Woody's like point of view, where it's sort of like a Forrest Gump kind of situation.
Oh, huh. That is very interesting. You know, all those early versions of Toy Story, yeah, what we got is better, but I would be so curious to see those actually happen.
Same, I'd love to see them.
If they're gonna milk Toy Story, it'd be kind of fun if like, they like made a project of like a hypothetical, okay, what if we actually did this? Like on Disney Plus or something.
They should release the Black Friday, all the scenes
Oh,
for the Black Friday stuff.
oh man, that would be I would love to know what the Black Friday how that movie would turn out, like the whole thing, seeing it. That would be very
Yeah,
interesting.
Tom Hanks actually gave us like the timeline of it now.
I
So
heard a little bit about that.
yeah, so they actually did record the whole thing. So they didn't animate it, it was all storyboarded, and Tom Hanks did the voice for all of it.
That's so interesting. He like he recorded an entire movie and then had to go back and do a whole other one.
Yeah, and they just completely scrapped it because it was just so. I think the word was like kind of like vulgar. Like everyone is just like really, really bad in it.
It really is interesting, the remnants of it in the first movie, how everyone like they're not that bad, like Black Friday level, but they have this like jerk kind of mentality,
Yeah,
especially Woody and Buzz's whole spat. It's so interesting seeing how in these movies how they become so much nicer.
but to be honest, in Toy Story 5, you do see that from Woody a bit.
What's so interesting is I love Toy Story 1 Woody. He's hilarious. I love how feral he is. And it's like you almost see him come out, but it doesn't feel the same because it's like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah, it came out in Toy Story 5 when he went to drain lily pad of the charge. I was like, that's Toy Story 1 Woody that was.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I was kind of shocked by that because Woody by now he's all you would think he's gonna be more gentle. He's gonna be like ask like, okay, well,
Yeah,
who are you and blah blah blah. But no, he's honestly he was more antagonistic towards her than he was to Buzz at first when he came into Andy's room.
yeah.
It was very interesting. I don't know. Maybe I guess because the focus wasn't on him, they were like, oh well, we can just kind of mess with him a little bit more now.
Yeah. Like that was so funny how he sort of like took charge and like it's weird because he's sort of like his purpose in life is like to help other toys, but yet he still knows how to like just like destroy another toy easily without care.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting how he and Buzz were plotting to take her charge out. I was like, this feels very aggressive for Woody and Buzz.
Yeah, and they absolutely drain her. And I love the part where they figure out like by saying her name
Oh
they can
yeah.
stop her.
Yeah. It's so interesting how this is the first sequel where Woody and Buzz are together for most of the adventure, even though you don't really see much of it.
Yeah, they're actually like together. I just wish they were just written better. That's the thing.
Yeah, like it is nice to see some of that Toy Story 1 quality, but I think it's just I wish they had written it so it feels natural and organic when they start acting that way.
To be honest, like Woody's character in this doesn't really bother me, but it's
Mhm.
just Buzz. I can't get over how flipping bad Buzz was.
Yeah, Woody, it wasn't like horrible. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, but it wasn't like anything terrible. But Buzz was he was way off.
Yeah,
I thought when Woody was saying, "Oh, I just think I can do it a bit better." It was funny because before this movie, I was wondering if they were like gonna have this thing where he's like in his head because he's a lost toy and he's got his poncho. He thinks he's all cool now, but they didn't really touch on that.
yeah. That's a shame that they didn't really just give him a bit of something for that.
Yeah, I really do feel like it was for the trailer, like we said, because they kept focusing on that moment and releasing clips, and it just didn't really matter in the end.
The only like change we got to see of Woody was like that bit of agility he had when he was like jumping off the window.
Oh yeah, because he like compared to Buzz and Jesse, he's always like the least graceful. He's always losing fights. So
Yeah.
I do like we get to see a little bit of him being a lost toy. It kind of prepares him more because I think we did kind of see that evolution. Like in three, when he's in the bathroom, he was like, oh, he's still really awkward, but he's kind of learning his way more. And by now, with him being a lost toy, I do think it makes sense he would be more graceful with that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was really cool when he's trying to talk out that toy from like committing suicide. It's like one of those like what's it called? Like it's like a hostage negotiation.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. I didn't know this until recently that there's a tie-in comic after four where it says that Woody and Bo and all they leave the carnival. Because I was assuming they were just gonna stay there, and that was the whole thing because it's a traveling carnival. So I don't know if that's canonical and if that's what the deal is in the universe of like five and all. But it was weird because I always assumed they would stay there.
Yeah, I remember I read a tie-in comic a few years ago. Yeah, when they actually go to like a children's hospital
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
they give the combat Coles like a home with there.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because in five they're very vague about where exactly they are. It's like, oh, there's some trees.
Yeah, but, like are they just everywhere? Like where are they even located?
I feel like they just didn't. They were like, I don't really know what to touch on this. Let's just have them be in a vague location. We'll just not worry about it for now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, where do they sleep? Like, how do they maintain? I was like, do they just stay in the skunk all day?
Yeah, because in the carnival, it's like, okay, I kind of get where they hang out, but if they're not in the carnival, it's like, okay, well, they're just around, I guess.
Yeah.
So another thing about this movie that's interesting is the merchandise
Yes.
or lack thereof.
Lack of decent stuff.
There were a few things I thought were cool enough, but even compared to four, I thought four had a lot more stuff.
Um.
Maybe not
hmm.
a lot more good stuff, but more stuff in general, I guess.
Yeah, more stuff in general. Yeah, they kind of like picked and choose the like they took from different eras when the Toy Story 4 merchandise.
Yeah, this one, I, I'm kind of surprised it was more limited. You would think they would want to go all out, but I don't know if it's economics or because the budget was so big for this movie, or just like, well, the lack of thinkway. I guess maybe Mattel's just not as focused on it and they don't care as much, or I don't know if toys are selling worse. I don't know what it is, but I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah, I think we'll start. So we'll start with like one of the toys is like, so we had the Mattel Ultimate Woody and Buzz release, and they were like animatronics.
It's funny because I could have sworn like someone at Mattel was like, "Oh yeah, by June we're gonna have these full scale dolls." I don't know if they meant that because it's not toys. I think it was just anniversary stuff, but it just coincided with the release of five. But those were really uh probably the worst dolls I've seen of Woody and Buzz in my life.
Yep, worst dolls and like probably like most expensive as well.
Yeah, and also they're not gonna have that much longevity, I would imagine.
Yeah, due to like how the material on the faces are and how they can just easily degrade.
Yeah. All right. So this merch, the Ultimate Collection, I think that's what they're called. They're really creepy animatronic Woody and Buzz dolls.
Yeah, really expensive as well.
Yeah. And it's interesting we didn't really get like a traditional. full scale doll or action figure for Woody or Buzz. I mean, after the fact, they've released. I know they have the Poncho Woody with the bald spot. Weird about him, he has Andy on his boot. Don't know what that's about.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yes, Andy.
Yeah, I don't know why, but all right. It's an interesting detail. He kind of looks like a Roundup Fun Woody in the face, but the body looks different.
Yeah, I think it's like an updated Roundup Fun Woody. I think it's the same size as well.
Yeah, I knew if they were to make um bigger dolls, I was like, there's no way they're gonna have him with the closed mouth. They're gonna pacify. They're gonna be okay. You can have the play scale with the closed mouth, but the bigger ones, no, they're gonna have the open mouth.
Yeah, they made play scale with the closed mouth, but they still had the eyebrow raised.
Yeah, that's yeah. It's pretty much exactly what we predicted, I guess. And I do wonder why they're having the Poncho Woody and the high tech Buzz come out after the movie because from what I remember, they always would release them before. So I don't know what the logic is there.
Yeah, I think they realized just like the movie's doing well, so let's quickly rush out some more merchandise for people to buy.
Yeah, yeah. I like Playscale there. He's cute, but again, it's not the real Woody.
Yeah, that is the best way. It is really cute. Like I will eventually get it, but that's the best word for it. It is cute.
Yeah, I will say it's like the first Woody doll in a while. I've thought maybe I'll get that at some point. It's like he kind of looks like Woody, and he's like a small little version of him you can carry around or whatever. But yes, we're never gonna get the actual Woody.
Unfortunately. So thinking what else? Oh, this is something that's confused me. We, Jesse's the main character,
You know,
and there's no doll of her.
it's
What?
so strange because yeah, there's the play scale doll, but you would think she'd have a full scale like doll, and she got the with the pull string because this is the first
Yeah.
movie where we hear her phrases, and no, we don't get anything like that. It's very weird.
Yeah, I can't believe like we just don't have a standard Jessie doll with a pull string when it's her movie.
I almost wonder if like Disney doesn't want them to do it because they have the Disney Store dolls. I don't know. It's very weird.
Yeah, because what I've been seeing, a lot of people do advertise the Disney Store Jessie, but but it's like the old version. There's no badge on her. She doesn't have the new phrases.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I guess they just think, okay, well, we want to have this line of well, I guess Disney Store isn't necessarily exactly full scale. It's close to it, but point being, they're bigger dolls, and they want that to be the official line or what have you, I guess. And they're like, well, you can make a Poncho Woody or a smaller Woody, but you can't make a one. You can't make one that's too big, then you'll overshadow Disney Store.
And it's weird, like even Jessie with the smaller figures, like there wasn't much of them either.
Yeah, they seemed very focused on the figures for this movie and the way they're packaged now. And I think this applied with four. They don't really have anything encasing them in it. They're just kind of like wrapped around it and just stuck there, nothing holding them. They're just on cardboard.
Yeah, and I think on the day one of like the big merch release, I went in the store and I actually listened to like all the phrases of like
Mhm.
each little like toy thing. And after seeing the movie now, I think there was so much cut from the movie.
Yeah, there were because I've heard there's like a lot of these figures, they have like a lot of phrases that aren't relevant to the movie, although I'm not sure how they would be pieced together or where what would go where, but it's interesting. I heard something about how there were a few different edits of this movie, but I don't know what that would entail.
Yeah, I think Jessie had like more of she had more of so in Finding Nemo, Dory could talk to whales.
Oh yeah, 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 I remember because that was it
That
said
like
Jesse.
sound. I think that yeah, I think there's supposed to be a subplot where she does that with her like yodels.
Yeah, 'cause the figures I forgot about that, but yeah, the figures it had this thing where she could talk to animals and they had like some kind of description about it, and then that wasn't in the movie at all, and I wonder what that was about.
Yeah, where did it go?
Yeah, it very very interesting choices. I will be curious to see as we know more if this movie like how different it was when it started, like if they knew pretty early on or if it was like forward it was a lot different at first.
Yeah, I did see a clip with one of the like it's sort of like the animation company that work with Pixar. They showed an alternate version of the Jesse horse scene.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
So Bullseye was not with Jesse at that point,
Hmm.
but
Interesting.
that blue hand thing was that was the only thing with Jesse.
Yeah, yeah, I would be curious to see that. And I guess with that original ending with the Emily getting Jesse, I don't know how that even would have worked. I guess maybe Jesse would have left the gang and then just been with Emily and would have been a bit much. Third movie in a row where we leave, someone leaves and goes somewhere else.
Yeah, that would have been such a weird ending. Like someone else leaves the group.
Yeah, it's like okay, they're dropping like flies, I guess.
Yeah, Bonnie would have just been like the worst owner. She just actually like they're leaving her. She's not even losing them. They're actually actively leaving her.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were like gonna have Jesse go with Blaze at first, and I was like, are they gonna do that again? But I guess not. Which I am glad because the way it worked out with them being friends, that's a much better resolution than doing, oh, someone's leaving again.
Yeah, this movie was sort of like a it's like a bait and switch. I wasn't predicting the
Yeah.
movie to like end up like this sort of like deep friendship movie. Was not expecting that.
Yeah, I was not expecting that until Tim Allen spoiled it in an interview.
Yeah.
Before that, I was not expecting that. Um, but I do like that it went in that direction. I appreciate they didn't try to be like, okay, this is the ending of the franchise again. They just kind of let it be a casual movie, which when I could say if, but I should say when six gets announced, there will be less uproar and criticism.
Yeah, I wonder what I think they're still going to be like, oh, why is there another one? But I think people are much more open to it now.
Yeah, it's funny too because before I was like, can they call a movie Toy Story 6 or 7, or is that going to sound ridiculous? But by now, I think people are just so used to it, it won't matter.
Yeah, it's just going to be it is what it is.
I remember Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, they were doing these interviews and they were saying, oh, well, the numbering, it doesn't matter. They were very insistent about that. They're like, oh, it's just all one big Toy Story. And anytime someone was like, oh, this is the fifth movie, they were like, no, the numbering, it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, that was an odd one. Like they don't. I I think it's from their point of view. Like if someone mentions like a scene in the movie, they don't know which movie it's from.
I know. They were like, Tom Hanks was like, the one where Andy gives us away. What is that? Toy Story 2?
Yeah.
And Tim Allen was like, oh yeah, Buzz. He realizes he's not a space ranger. I think that's Toy Story 2.
Oh, like Tim Allen's so funny. Like he's like so old, so he's like he kind of like repeats the same thing, and he like rambles.
They always go on about that story. They're like, yeah, so there was this kid and he didn't know I was the voice and he thought I swallowed Buzz Lightyear. I always find it strange when they tell those stories because I'm like, kids aren't that dumb. They know that actors voice the characters.
I can't believe how many times they told that story. That shows up in
No.
every interview.
You would think they would realize at some point, okay, people probably get that by now. But no, I guess not.
Tim Allen loves mentioning that line from Toy Story 1. You're a sad, strange little man.
Oh yeah, because
Literally, he keeps quoting that one quote and nothing else.
yeah, he says he ad-libbed it, which I don't know if that's true, but I
Yeah,
guess he's very proud of it.
yeah, yeah. He said he ad libbed it.
And I remember Tom said that they've never actually recorded together, and anytime you've seen it, it was just for promo.
Yeah, because I've got a few like footage of them of like them doing their lines together, but
Yeah.
apparently it's just staged.
Yeah, which I always knew, like, okay, yeah, they usually don't record together. But I was thinking, like, for one and two with those clips, I was like, oh, I guess maybe they did a few scenes. But according to Tom, no, they just filmed that just for the sake of it, just to promote. I don't know.
Yeah, so random.
Because I mean, I know it's not the takes used in the movie, I don't think, from what I remember, but I was thinking, oh, I guess those are just the alternate takes they were recording. But no, they were just fictional takes, I guess.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. How did you feel about this is the first Toy Story where You Got a Friend in Me does not appear at all.
Yeah. I was expecting that actually. I was expecting that.
I kind
Because
of wondered that.
what I've noticed with number four and number five. So number four wasn't supposed to have "You've Got a Friend in Me" at the beginning.
Yeah, I heard
It
it
was
was
supposed to
supposed
be
to
a different
be
song.
Lonesome Cowboy at the opening, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did miss it, but at the same time, I do. It gets to a point you can't just like, oh, we got to shoehorn it in here because it's the song that everybody knows.
They did sort of put it in when Woody makes his
Oh
appearance.
yeah, yeah,
It's an
yeah,
instrumental.
yeah. So it's represented there a bit at least. So there's that.
Another thing with these new like Toy Story movies now, you can tell like they try to bookend the movies. So in number four, I think it starts with the moon, and then it
Yeah,
ends with the moon,
right.
and
Yeah,
then in number five, like it does start with the buzz and end with the buzz in the post credit, but it also starts with the wedding and ends with the wedding.
yeah, yeah. That is true. Yeah, it's interesting because at first it was like, okay, it's a there's two movies and they came out around a similar time and it had been that way for a while. And three, it's like, okay, now it's a trilogy. Okay, makes sense. Things are trilogies. That's four. It was like, okay, four. It's all about it's Woody's journey. Then four wraps it up, and now five. It's like, oh well, there's just increasing ways to look at it.
Yeah,
And I think because like with things like the way they would want to keep using "You've Got a Friend in Me" and stuff like that. Like if they wanted it to feel like one cohesive story, but by now it's like there's so many, it's just like, well, we're just gonna focus on this story and whatever happens, happens.
yeah. That's why I think four and five. I just call them Toy Story Adventures.
Yeah, it's interesting because I see so many people are like separating them in different ways. And I imagine too, like when six comes out, because f people would call four an epilogue, and then there's people who when six comes out. Oh, there's probably actually there's probably people now they're like, oh no, five's the epilogue, but then six comes out. It's like, oh well, no, it's a different trilogy or something else.
Yeah, I always used to try and like separate them. I used to do like one and two, three and four. But
Yeah,
look at it now, one, two, and three, they're all one story. Like they're all connected. And four and five, they're just like episodes.
I think they've probably, well, not even probably. I think it's evident just from watching. They've just given up on like, okay, there's no way to top whatever peril they've been in. So let's just not even worry about it.
Yeah, that's what I can tell now. Like they can't get to the level of three.
Yeah,
So
right.
they're actually stuck at a level. Because I thought that with number four, but now number five came out, it confirmed it. They can't reach that level.
Yeah. I think with four, the movie was kind of melancholic and it felt like okay, this could be seen as intentional. And but with five, it does have a little more action on paper and it still has that kind of feeling. So it's like, okay, yeah. I think they just don't know how else to top it.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about some of the scenes in five because 5 has a lot of scenes, but it's
Hmm.
just rushed.
Yeah, the pacing of this movie, like it's weird because sometimes it dragged for me, and sometimes I was like, "Oh, this is going too fast. We're jumping from one thing to the next."
Yeah, I really like the scene where Jessie she overlooks all the houses and she can see the kids just on iPads.
Oh yeah,
I love that scene how it was going on, and then it kind of like just cut to Lily Pad just arriving.
yeah, and Bonnie's like the whole dilemma of the screen time. It was like just a quick little montage.
Yeah, I felt like there was like something missing, like something was cut out.
It's weird because I was thinking, okay, this movie doesn't need to be as long as it is, but then thinking about it more, I'm like, well, actually, maybe the runtime just should have been put into different things.
Yeah. There was another scene. Oh, the I really like the horse riding scene. Well, all the buzzers and Jesse on the horses.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was
That I think
fun.
that was fun. I just felt like it was slightly a bit rushed.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I wonder if like they're self-conscious of the fact, oh, this might seem similar to what we've done before in some way, so we have to like wrap this up quickly.
Yeah, it was such a shame. Like it was a good scene, and like there's so much happening. Like you need to try and like when I was watching it like the second time, I was trying to like watch the background, and you can see Woody on that little pink horse,
Yeah.
and his legs are just flailing around.
Yeah. That scene, it kind of felt like something you would have seen in one or two or something.
Yeah, it felt like something from one and two.
I'll be interested to see um because it feels like I've always would have liked them to have done something that recaptures that kind of feeling of one and two, but I just don't know if they really can at this point.
Yeah, I think they could have with the that Buzz drone scene, but it just felt rushed.
Yeah, just because one and two, like growing up with them, watching them the most, uh, there's like a certain vibe that I would like to see in some way, but it just feels like it just feels different in a way. And with the lack of screen time certain characters get now, it just feels like okay, whatever Toy Story movie comes out might be good, but it's not going to feel the same in a way, which it shouldn't feel exactly the same. But
And it's a
um,
weird thing, like the climax of Toy Story 4 and Toy Story 5 had this weird climax where it just dissolves. It feels like you're building towards something and then it just dissolves.
there's honestly just never been the first movie that has the best climax because it's so focused on Woody and Buzz, and you feel like watching it even now, like you feel that stress when they're trying to get to the moving truck, and when you finally get that payoff where Buzz flies and Woody's the one to point it out. That third act, I think in terms of just sheer excitement, cannot be topped.
Yeah, that's such a shame.
And I do always miss like the outdated animation because it gives a certain kind of warm feeling to it, which can't be really helped. But I think it just shows how you can't really make it exactly the same, I guess.
Yeah.
So, with all that in mind, do you have any final thoughts?
You know, I know I've complained about it, but I really did like it. Like there was a lot of positives. It was just like really heartwarming, and it does hit that emotion with Bonnie and Blaze and their story.
Yeah, I will say my final thoughts, even though I did feel more negatively. I guess this way, a lot of people felt this way about four, where they were like, well, I just feel like the last movie ended off so well. This one didn't justify its existence as much. I think that's how I feel about this movie. But having said that, the Bonnie and Blaze stuff, especially towards the end, I do like that people can watch that movie, especially kids, can take something away from that that's meaningful. And even though I am more negative on the movie, I don't think it was like a disastrous. movie that ruined Toy Story or anything
Yeah.
like that. I don't hate it. Some people, man, like with four, and I think I've seen a bit with this too. They really get angry about it.
Yeah. To me, I rank this higher than four.
I've seen a lot of people rank it higher. I've seen people rank it higher than four. It seems I think the technology and the Jesse and Bonnie Blaze, I guess for a lot of people that just uh it resonates more. And um I will say, despite my feelings on it, I am glad people like it. I am glad that it's done well because I want Toy Story to do well.
Yeah.
So that's those are the positive takeaways. The Bonnie Blaze friendship, stuff like that. Those are the good takeaways, and I'm still going to be interested to see what they do going forward.
Yeah. I think what it is, I think the story of five, it's a lot more solid and tighter than the story in Toy Story 4.
I feel like with four, I think a lot of people, because Andy was gone, they didn't feel the level of investment. I did, but I think putting myself in other people's shoes, people didn't feel that as much. Whereas with five, like Jesse and Emily's story, like that's like it's never really had a resolution. So I think a lot of people felt more invested in that because they got to see that payoff.
Yeah, you got to see like it was like a continuation, and you do get to see the payoff of Jessie and her story.
I think my issue is that it felt very similar to stuff Woody's gone through in terms of having this kind of doubt about their place, and then they see something and they're like, oh, well, actually, no, I know my place and I want to keep being with my kid. It felt thematically redundant to me, and I think that's why I didn't connect with it as much. And with four, the way it ended, it just felt like such a natural conclusion of like when a toy is worried about their place in the world. It kind of wrapped that up so well to me. So because of that, I found myself not as invested in Jessie's story. I think that's why I wound up preferring her story in Toy Story of Terror with the her and the storage stuff and the enclosed space. But having said that, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, Jessie's story arc was like literally Woody's in one, two, three, and four, but crammed into one movie.
Yeah, yeah. I think for me, I even though I love all the characters and it can't just be about any one character, Woody's arc what felt like the heart of the movies to me. And it just felt like, oh, well, here's that, but with a different character.
Yeah,
But I will say that if someone sees it and it inspires them to not give up on whatever connection they have, and they didn't get that from the other movies, well, at least there's something good with that.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
do you think Toy Story 6 will be around the level of quality you feel about four and five? Do you think it will kind of continue that trend?
Definitely. So I think Toy Story 6, they're gonna do like there's a pattern now, like they try to find loose ends in like these other movies in one, two, and three. So
Yeah, right.
four was Bo Peep leaving and that
Right,
mentioned in
yeah.
three.
Yeah.
Jesse and Emily. So they're gonna look for another loose thread.
Yeah, I really wonder what it would be because I'm having trouble thinking of one, but I'm sure they'll think of something.
Yeah, they will. They'll find something.
Yeah, and I ideally I do kind of find myself wishing they stopped at four, but at the same time, I always enjoy talking about another one of these movies and speculating about what they're gonna do. So in that sense, I like uh the fact that it does keep going because it just gives a lot of interesting discussion, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, do I want to see another one? And I was wrestling with it a bit. But yeah, one more just to I would like to see one more just for them to finish it off, but there's gonna be like two or three more.
Yeah, you would think of one more. It's like, okay, now there's almost like two trilogies, but then it's like, well, Andrew Stanton said two more, and there might be more than that. So who knows?
Yeah. It's like the Toy Story movies now are like what's it called? They call it generational now.
Yeah, I think the longer any franchise goes on, there's going to be people who end up not liking one as much because when people like a movie, everyone has their own kind of individual things about it that appeals to them. So I think with four, a lot of people didn't like Woody leaving and that kind of thing. And with five, you have people like me. I was like, well, I'm not as invested in the Jesse, well, not Jesse in general, but this story they chose for Jesse. And then I'm sure there's going to be people whenever a six comes out, there's going to be people who identify with all five of them, and for whatever reason, they don't identify with six as much. So it's just kind of one of those inevitable things, I think.
Yeah.
Having said that, I still think Toy Story is the best franchise in existence because pretty much any other franchise went off the rails already by this point. We're way early.
Yeah, nothing else compares. Toy Story is the number one.
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly, at this point, even if they make one eventually that people reject more, I don't think they're ever going to have one, at least anytime soon, that's just, oh, this was just a terrible movie. It was just awful. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah, looking at this now, I don't think they're gonna have like a really bad one. It's just gonna be a one that's good, but not as good as the rest.
Yeah, I think it's going to take something like that that maybe doesn't make as much money for them to finally put it to rest. Like, well, I remember like when Cars 3, that didn't make as much money as the other ones. So we haven't seen a Cars 4 for a while now.
Yeah, until 4 years. The next 4 years there is.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Eventually, like, they'll put it on pause, but eventually they're like, well, enough time's passed. We could probably do well at the box
Yeah,
office
we
now.
could we could dust it off and make some money off it now.
Yeah, well, that is true. I also think too, people they get really in their feelings. Like, I know with four, a lot of people hate it. Like, a lot of people in the fandom hated it, and they're like, "Oh my God, this has destroyed everything." And it's like, it's not real. You can just stop when you want. Like, I could just stop. Like, if I have a marathon, I could just stop at four. Because if there is a perfect ending, well, there you go. There's the ending. I think that's better than, oh, they didn't get to the ending properly. They ruined the end. Like, there was no ending, but they got there and they ruined it. When you have a perfect ending, I feel like it becomes a lot easier to ignore whatever comes after that.
Yeah, that's how I feel now. Like I would usually now just watch Toy Story 1 to 3.
Hmm.
4 or 5, I'll just watch them on a random a random day.
Yeah, I think people, yes, there's canon and there's things that come out canonically, but I think they put too much stock in it. I think at the end of the day, they're still movies. Like when Toy Story 1 came out, nobody was like, yeah, so eventually we're gonna make a movie where Woody finds Bo Peep in a carnival and he leaves at the carnival. Like nobody was thinking that. Like all these movies are kind of in their own little world to me. Even if they have the same creative team and yes, technically they take place in the same universe, but I guess I just don't think of it that way. They're just kind of they're all their own little pieces of art, and you can connect them if you want or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So, with all that in mind, do you have anything else to say about Toy Story 5?
Um, it's a movie that now exists. Another Toy
Right.
Story movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing about it. That when a Toy Story movie comes out, even if people don't like it or they feel it broke the streak, it exists and it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, having said that, I feel like most people do like it. I feel like I haven't seen there have been people I've saw who said they didn't like it, but online in the fandom it seems like it's mostly positive, but I don't know if that'll change if it's just like a recency thing, but as of now it seems generally positive.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of positivity for this movie online. Like everyone's loving it.
So in that sense, I guess it's another victory for Toy Story. There's not a lot of people out there like me that love one through four and aren't as crazy about this one. There's usually like it's like they love one through three, but not four, but they love five, or they love one through three, but don't love four or five.
Yeah. I think five, I think a lot of people really do like five more than four.
Yeah, I think overall five is going to be more liked. I'll be one of the 12 people who likes Toy Story 4 more,
Yeah.
but that's fine with me. But yeah, I guess with that, we can end our discussion for now, and eventually there will be more to talk about, obviously, with whatever they end up doing with this franchise. But I'm glad that most people are liking it, and I hope people enjoy our discussion. And with that, I guess we will sign off now.